I'm going to talk about appliquing fabric on a very thin shirt. Okay, so when you have a very thin shirt, I'm not wanting to put a whole lot of stitches. So this particular applique design does not have a heavy finishing stitch. It just has a running stitch and a tack down, like a zigzag stitch. So number one thing is that if you're doing applique or you want to do applique, the design that you're using, it has to be an applique design. And if it's not an applique design, then it has to be set up that way. So you can send it to your digitizer, tell your digitizer that you want it to be applique, or if you have digitizing skills, you can add the steps necessary to make your design an applique. So I walk you through the entire process of how I set it up, how I sent the files over. I talk about all of that at the very end of the video. I'll walk you through step by step in Design Shop. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to get the design ready, and you are going to hoop your fabric like this. So I hooped my fabric and I have it hooped with a piece of tearaway, okay? The only reason I put some tearaway on the back is because I'm just trying to make the fabric stable, because fabric by itself is very flimsy and hard to work with. So I have the tearaway just to kind of make it a little bit thicker. And what I did was I ran an outline of the 3 letters, which are USA. Well, I realized on the video you can't see the pink thread. So what I did was, for the purposes of the video, because I would never do this otherwise, but for the purposes of the video, I did sew it out with navy thread so that you could actually see how it does an outline of the 3 letters that I need. And then you're just going to cut it out. So you can see I kind of started cutting it out. Now, when you cut, you're going to cut super close, okay? So again, you wouldn't use navy thread, and it's sometimes hard to see. But a trick that you can do that's super cool is use black bobbin. Okay, so if you use black bobbin, you can just turn your fabric over, and you can see so easy, and it makes it so easy just to cut super close to your thread like that. And then that leaves you with your 3 letters cut out like this. So you have all of your letters cut out. Okay, so let's talk about putting it on the shirt. Okay, so you can see what I did in OS was I added an applique stop after the first stitch of each letter so that the machine will stop and allow me to lay the letter down. So what I did here, I have this shirt hooped. I went 3 inches down from where the bottom of the collar is to where I wanted the top of the design to be. I did about 3 inches so that it'll sit on the chest. So basically you can see that it did the letter U. So now I'm going to use some sticky spray. I'm going to use this MSA 1000, which the overspray is pretty ridiculous. So make sure that you spray it inside of something, in a can or something, so that it doesn't get on all of your stuff. Definitely don't want to spray it anywhere near your machine. All right, and so now I'm just going to lay this U down. And you want to be super careful when you're laying it down. You want to get it stitch on top of stitch. Kind of be meticulous about that. So you can see what I did was I laid the fabric down just like that. Now I'm going to put it on. And I'm going to press go. Okay, and so that's the stitch that it did around the U. It's not a heavy stitch, it's just kind of a zigzag. All right, and so now what it's going to do is now it's going to trace out the letter S, and I'm going to lay the S down. The design is complete. Here it is. Yes, anyone can do red, white, and blue, so be creative. Do something different. They wanted something different. They didn't want the typical red, white, and blue like what everybody else is doing. So each fabric, each one was $15. So this is approximately $45 per shirt that I'm charging, and they provided the shirts. So it took me approximately 4 minutes to let it sew out on the machine, and it was maybe 10 minutes to get the fabric cut out. and I am using one piece of cutaway on the back. The reason I can get away with using only one piece on such a thin shirt is because it was only 4,000 stitches. And by the way, this is trash. I know sometimes you like to save that, but I recommend you save money somewhere else. That's trash. All right, and so here you go. It's all done. Ready to go. Applique on a thin shirt.
Because the U is a file, the S is a file, and the A is an individual file. So what I did was I went to a brand new page, and I'm going to say File, Insert, and then I'm going to insert the letter U. You can double click on this, or you can highlight it and then click Open. And what that does is that opens the U. Now to insert the next letter, it's important that you say File Insert. Sometimes people say File Open and then that opens a whole nother page. So insert is the key word here. Now I'm going to double click on my S and then I'm going to pull my S over, File Insert, and I'm going to grab the A and pull that over. Then I'm going to center it. I'm going to click and drag to grab everything, and I'm going to pull it up to this red line, make sure that I'm actually sitting on the line. I guess I could pull this S down just a little bit so that it's even. Okay, and so now what I have is all three letters on one page. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. So I'll say File, Save As, and I'm going to call it exactly what it is, which is USA Applique. Always call it exactly what it is so that you can find it. And then I'm going to say save. All right, now what I need to do is I need to get rid of this finishing stitch right here, this zigzag stitch, because what I need is I need that running stitch that you see underneath, that red running stitch. I need that all by itself so that I can send it to the machine, and I'm going to hoop some fabric so it's going to show me exactly where to cut. So I'm going to come here and say delete, come over here and say delete, and I'm also going to delete this one right here. So what I'm left with is the shape of the three letters that I'm using. Now, if you want to get rid of these lines on any of your files, you're just going to click and drag, double click, which opens up object properties, and auto trim, auto tie at 32 points. And if I say OK, that goes away for me. All right, so now what I need to do is I need to hoop some fabric with some tearaway. The reason I'm going to use tearaway on the back of the fabric is just to kind of thicken the fabric so that the fabric is not real flimsy. All right, now if you have a cutter, you can actually save this file as an SVG. You can say File, Save As, and right down here you can actually choose SVG. That is a cut file. Then you can send that over to your cutter and it will cut it out for you.